welcome back to Bohemian Crafting. Today's video is packed with creative ideas and inspiration with lots of upcycling and little surprise along the way. So before we begin, let me show you what I have prepared for you today. First, we will transform simple toilet paper roll into beautiful textured leather looking journal cover. This is very fun way to turn everyday material into something really unique and full of character. I will also show you how you can create folks letter journal cover using an old box and simple shopping bag. Then we will make a clever little slider closure. This is inspired by Stu's Journals Adventures is the channel I've been inspired by for this closure. And finally, my favorite project from today, a moving frog illustration that slides up and down. It's playful and little unexpected. It's perfect for adding movement and fun to your journal pages. If you enjoy creative upcycling and experimenting with paper, let's begin with the first project. I love to use toilet paper rolls in my craft. I did use them many times in my journals as a pockets, as a windows. I have created beautiful boxes out of toilet paper rolls, and today I will try to create a journal cover out of these rolls. First, I'm gonna cut them on small pieces, not totally small, but smaller pieces. I do have my bunch of small pieces from toilet paper rolls. I have my sheet nearly dry. Oh, here and there I do have a little bit of glue, but I was thinking I will start already to paint it. Here I do have my homemade mix of kind of like sage green, I will say, color. It's a light color. It looks quite light on camera. It's a little bit darker in a reel. So I'm gonna use it and paint with this my sheet, and I will probably do a few layers just to make it look like leather. More layers you will put. This is acrylic paint, I have to say. It's acrylic paint, and with acrylic paint, more layers you will put, the better look of the leather it will get. I did this, make leather looking paper long time ago when I have created a Christmas journal and Christmas kind of like box, and it was really beautiful. So I'm gonna use this color, paint this few times. I have already cut the edges of my painting. This is totally dry over the night, and I do have three coats of my painting over these square pieces. I'm gonna be using my sewing machine and go through to all edges of these pieces with my sewing machine with just straight stitching. I will go very slow because this is thick cardboard, and it went kind of like very thick with all those coatings. So before I will go to my machine with this, I'm gonna actually round the corners because I like those rounded corners much more. I'm gonna try this. Oh yeah, this way. Just beat it down. Ah, come on. And if you do have paper punch which will don't work, just grab your scissors and use your scissors. Here I cut it a little bit weird way. Good. So now, because it's a little bit tough or stiff, is it the right word? I'm gonna bring my big shot and run it through the big shot. If you don't have a machine like this, you can always take your hand and do this. Make it softer. Play with it. If you did use good painting and good glue underneath, it will don't ruin your painting. This movement, it will only help to make that paper softer and more flexible. Also, this running through should help to that paper, to those cardboard pieces, be softer, smoother, and do not ruin your sewing machine. Yeah, and I can feel it straight away that it's more flexible, it's more playable, so this helped a lot. So now I can try to go through the sewing machine. And just with straight stitching, slow sewing, I'm gonna be sewing all around of my cover. Just like this, really slow stitching because it's thicker, and I know sometimes my machine does have an issue with paper that it doesn't want to stitch every single stitch, and this should help. I do have my journal cover prepared from the outside. Now I need to place something inside, and it looks like this. I really like the look of the leather, and it's from toilet paper rolls. I'm gonna be using inside these papers, these black papers, mixed with envelopes, very simple setup of the signatures. And because that inside will be from the start a little bit darker, I'm gonna make it softer, I mean, make it softer with this brown beautiful fabric. But because this fabric is very light, and if I will glue it straight away, it will show too much of this sewing, and I actually want to have that inside a little bit smoother. So first I'm gonna trace the shape of this on a little bit heavier paper. So I do have shape which will fit nicely inside of my cover. Now on this paper, and this is by the way old wrapping paper from some packaging which came to our house. So on this I'm gonna glue the fabric. And because the fabric is very thin, I'm gonna be using double-sided tape here on the back of my paper, and I will glue the fabric on it with double-sided tape. And I'm gonna sew the fabric all around to make it beautifully finished. So all sides are sewn around, and my fabric, I also sealed the fabric or secured the fabric edges with the tape, and I'm just gonna simply glue it here like this. I'm gonna be using PVA glue and glue my paper on the cover. And place it. I'm gonna put weight on my cover just to make sure that everything will get glued nicely. I do have all glued, and I think it's glued really nicely. First, before I will attach their eyelets, and I'm gonna put their elastic bands to hold the signatures in, I'm gonna also sand the edges with my nail file. So I'm gonna sand the edges, and I will use my sewing machine one more time and do that sewing through these all around of this journal to secure the inside with that outside paper. But before that, I'm gonna sand those edges and also sand the edges this way. So it will ruin a little bit the stitching I already made there, but I'm making vintage looking journal, used journal, and that's totally okay. I do have done stitching all around, and I also added zigzag stitching on this middle row of these squares just to secure these edges from unfolding, because even they are stitched on the edges, that exact edge started to unfold here. So I did choose zigzag stitching to secure it a little bit more. And because it's quite white now, I'm gonna take walnut stain distress ink from Ranger, and I will use it over the edges and also on that stitching I just added. And this is how it looks all distressed and with that fabric inside. I do love the thickness now. It's a really nice thickness. It's not too thick, not too thin, just exactly. So this is my cover made from toilet paper rolls, painted 3 times and sewn and then decorated with another painting. I'm gonna add 2 eyelets here on the top, 2 eyelets here on the bottom, and 1 in the middle for closure. And it looks like this. For holding my pages inside, I'm gonna be using this elastic band, and same elastic band I will be using as a journal closure. To hold elastic band inside in my cover or around the cover without dropping outside, I'm gonna put from inside this bead, and I will add there the elastic band. Well, I need to go from outside in the case to measure it actually. So from outside inside, put there the bead, and go outside again. And we do have that secure point which will hold the elastic band on the cover constantly. And to measure how big piece of that elastic band I need, I'm gonna put inside my pages, and here I can see that this will be enough, like this. Will be just exactly what I need. Now I'm gonna place elastic band to hold my pages, and I'm gonna go from outside, I'm gonna go inside and around the edge, and I'm gonna make a knot here. I'm gonna tie separately elastic bands for each pair of eyelets, not too tight, and one more time, not too tight. And I'm gonna put there the pages. It's not stitched, they are just put together, so it gives me chance to decorate them and you know, pull them out, decorate them and place them back. I do have all my papers inside. Now I can tie it up, and this is my leather looking journal made out of toilet paper rolls, wrapping paper actually. The wrapping paper was inside under this fabric. These papers are also wrapping paper which came with another parcel and envelopes. And it looks like this. I really love this look. Look at this, it looks like leather. Very next, I'm coming to share with you how you can easily create a leather looking journal out of an old box. I am using or upcycling box from our shampoos and one of the shopping bags. As you can see, I am ripping that shopping bag to open it fully, and I did use exact same shopping bag and one more of these for pages inside. So not only for the cover but also for pages you can use these types of packaging and shopping bags to make their wrinkles like leather has. I did smushed that paper which I cut it from that shopping bag quite tightly. I did all those wrinkles, then I flat it on my table, and first I did use distress ink from Ranger. It's walnut stain distress ink. After coloring my sheet with that walnut stain distress ink, I have used shoe polish, brown shoe polish. I do use this type of polish, shoe polish, on my journal covers for such a long time, many years, really, many years. Uh, Many times I do also mix these shoe polish waxes, or what is it, liquids, with my painting to give it different shades. It gives to your paper elasticity and some kind of like leather feel, because that shoe polish does have already water resistant mix in it for your shoes, obviously. So it does give to your journal cover beautiful texture, beautiful feeling, like proper leather. And this paper, which I did prepared with these mixes, with these colors, I did glued on that old cardboard box. I have created base for my future cover for the journal. And as I said, same paper I used for this cover, I also used to create journal pages. To make my journal cover more flexible and leather looking, I also roll it and make it softer by that rolling. Then I took same paper back, I rip it to open it. Then that open piece of paper I fold it few times, and I have from two bags I have created 20 pages plus that journal cover. So two shopping bags can create really beautiful journal. You will see that in the end. I used 5 pages for one of my signature. I didn't sew them together because I like that ability to take these pages out of my journal and create some layouts on it, some decorations, some collage on it. So that's why I didn't sew them together. They will be placed in my journal uh, in those elastic bands. They will be holding by elastic bands, so I don't have to sew them in the signature. As you saw, I did took my papers as a measurement for my journal cover, and I did cut the journal cover in the height of my papers, and then I measured the width of my papers and also how big space I will need for the spine of my journal. I counted 1/4 inch for each signature, and I cut it that in the size I need for my book. Because I don't like sharp corners on my journals, I took my scissors and cut corners on the journal cover and also on the pages to make them softer and rounded. Then I took my owl and I pierced holes in each of these marks for 4 signatures. That will gives me measurement where should I put eyelets once I do have inside done. For inside of my journal, I chose to use fake suede I had in my stuff here, and I just simply glue it inside by using PVA glue. And because I had just a small part of that fake suede, I had to make a little collage with that fake suede as well. Once I had that inside done, I took my crocodile and I had fixed eyelets into those marks I made before with my owl, those pierced pieces. I did use 5 eyelets, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom for holding pages, and then one in the middle that I used to fix the closure. For holding the closure in my cover, I used again a little button, or not button, a little beads, which will holding that elastic band on the cover, same like with that cover before, with that toilet paper roll cover. Here I added also a little label I had prepared before as decorative element on the closure, and that was actually all what I did with this journal. I do love so much the look of this journal. It looks amazing. You wouldn't guess right from the start that it's made out of trash, actually. And it's perfect for mixed media, for journaling, for creating collages, for any kind of magics you can create with your junk journals. I really love how our papers or scraps or leftovers or trash looks after creating it like leather. Both of these are amazing. I really love them, and I do love these journals, and I decided to start to do some decorations inside. I do love also on these journals that I made this elastic band binding, because that gives me chance that I can pull a paper from inside without getting stuck, and I can use that paper and decorate it easily on the flat surface. That's why I made it this way. And I decided to do as a first some pop-ups. For these pop-ups, I'm gonna be using all kind of beautiful digital collections. All of them will be linked down below for those who are interested to have a look. So all of digital papers or prints I will be using here, they will be listed down below. Today I would like to share with you very easy to create moving mechanism, which I saw many times in journals and in photo albums, as a closure for pages, as a closure for photo mats. It's easy to do, and lately I saw this mechanism in the beautiful tutorial made by Sue from Sue's Journals Adventures. I do think it's the right name of the channel. I will link that video which I saw down below. Go to have a look, because you will see beautiful tutorial on this mechanism, including all kind of tips what you should do and what you should avoid to do, and it's brilliant to hear. So go to have a look. Down below will be link to Sue's Journals Adventures channel. Inspired by Sue's video, I'm gonna create here openings. She has created writing spaces in her in her tutorial. I'm gonna create half writing spaces, half kind of like pocket places with same mechanism. This in this creation will create a closure, and I will show you how you should create your mechanism, and then I will show you how same mechanism can work in pop-up and moving pop-up mechanism. So first, how you can create this easy to do and easy to work mechanism. You're gonna cut strip of paper. This what I will be using here was made from strip 6 by 1 inch. Also, for those who are interested why these two envelopes are here, these two envelopes I'm gonna be using for creating my pockets. For creating my moving mechanism slash closure for pocket and writing spaces, I have used 200 GSM cardstock, and I did cut it strip 1 inch by 6. You can use smaller size, bigger size, depends on how big page you will have and how big spaces you need to keep closed. Next step with this strip is fold it on 3 equal parts. So you can either fold it this way, carefully match these and create 3 equal parts. I think this way, hopefully. Yeah, like this. So I do have 1, 2, and 3, and they are all same. They can fold this way. So if you are folding your paper by hand, just do it this way. Carefully fold it on 3 similar pieces. Then fold this one to the edge, and this one to the edge. And you do have everything what needs to be done in folding for your mechanism. That's what you should get. If you are not sure that you will fold your paper right way, grab your scoring board if you do have it, and score your paper if you do have paper 6 inches long, score your paper in 1 inch, 2, 4, and 5. That's all score lines you will do. And then you will fold it exactly same way like I did fold that paper before. This way. You do have a base for your moving mechanism. Then you will apply the glue on this middle long part. I'm gonna be using just double-sided tape. Place it here. And then I will move this one down and this one down to meet these papers in the middle. Press it down. And I do have my moving mechanism done. This will help you to move and to close the openings on your pages. Like this. That's what we will create today. And now all 4 are closed. I already pulled one of the papers from my journal out. I also cutted the piece of paper which I would like to keep as a background paper. I did cut it that a little smaller, slightly smaller than is my background paper, that black one. So this will be the space where I would like to fit my envelopes. And because I already did that, I know how to count. I need to fit 4 equal parts, and then to have there also gap where this will be moving up and down. My gap will be in the middle. So first what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually fold that, and as you can see, I do have here in the middle on the back side, I do have clear packaging tape. I wanted to reinforce that back side and to give it a little smooth texture for that moving mechanism, to avoid tearing the paper and also to give it smoother movement. So with folding this way, I know how is the, or what is the biggest size for my opening in this in the width. So here I can see that biggest size will be 2 7/8, but I don't want to have it that big, so I will count 2 3/4. There will be a little gap, which is perfect. Maximum 2 3/4 in the width for each pocket. And with the high, this is 8 inches. So I know 4 inches will be maximum for each part. And I will go a little less, so I will go for 3 3/4. That will be measuring for my envelopes. That I will need to have pocket, which is 3 3/4 high and 2 3/4 maximum, 2 3/4 in the width. My envelope this way, it's 4 1/4. So first what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually score my envelope a little down. I said 3 3/4 the high of my envelopes. 3 3/4. It's actually same, this one. So 3 3/4. And now 2 3/4 will be the size of my pockets, 2 3/4. Now I'm gonna fold it. I'm gonna cut this. And this extra piece, I'm gonna score at 2 3/4 as well. I'm gonna cut here, corner, here, corner. Now this I can fold and glue and reinforce with this one the flap. This one I'm gonna be folding inside and create a pocket with it. And this I will use to glue my pocket on the page. So I do have prepared my envelopes. I'm gonna punch the oval entries in each of these parts, but before I will do that, and I will use this is from EFCO, and the measurement of the paper punch is this one. It's 2.5 inch oval, and I found it on Amazon. I do have it for a long time, so I'm gonna be using it to punch those see-through openings. Before I will do that, I'm gonna tea dyed my envelopes, dried them, and use iron to flood them as much as possible. I do have envelopes tea dyed and dried. I did use my oven and I kind of baked them slightly, not too much, just to keep it nice and dry. And now I'm gonna be using my oval punch I do have a bunch of Easter eggs. I can use these actually to create Easter eggs. And I do have my lovely bunch of window pockets. Oh, these are not pockets yet, but they will be. I'm gonna be using acetate back and create those acetate windows. Very simple way. I'm gonna be using my sewing machine. So first, I'm gonna place double-sided tape here in the end of that acetate bag, from both sides actually. Now I'm gonna slide it in. Make sure that it's going to the end, to the bottom. Feel nicely the gap. And I'm gonna take my sewing machine and I will do sewing from here on the bottom and up here. And now just simply cut the end of the bag around the edges here of this pocket. Now I can take off that backing from double-sided tape here. A little bit sewn in. Place it down, then flip it over, take off the backing from double-sided tape on that opposite side. And I do have one large pocket with acetate pieces on both sides. And if I want to divide it on 2 pockets, I'm gonna just simply use my sewing machine and do sewing here as well. That's what I did in these pockets. I do have one here and one here. I have added acetate piece to all of my pockets. I'm gonna also shorten a little bit those flaps. Gonna place here double-sided tape. And fold it in that score line I made previously, and it will get just exactly to the pocket here. And fold it here. So this fold, it's original fold of the envelope, and here I do have fold which I scored with my envelope. I'm gonna round the corners because I don't like these sharp corners. So I'm gonna round the corners of the flap, and I'm gonna slightly cut the corners, just that top of the corners. And I do have prepared the base. I'm gonna do this with each of these pockets. I have done all stamping and all distressing, and I also added to that little flap which I left on these one single pockets, these small papers. They are from notepad I received long time ago from my very dear friend Evie from America, and this is perfect size for these pockets, so I did use it. Look how beautiful it frames my little pockets. So now I can start to make the actual cut in the middle of my paper and put it all together. I do have here my moving part. I do have all pockets. I do have page where all this will be, and I'm gonna start with this decorative paper. As I said, I did folded it on half, and over that fold I do have glued this packaging tape. It will reinforce that paper a little bit. I'm gonna grab knife and ruler, and in that middle fold, I'm gonna go there. So I will start about 1 centimeter or half inch from the bottom, and I will cut carefully through the paper. Oh, it's rolling a little bit. To the top, and again about 1 centimeter from the end. I'm gonna show you this way. Here it will be better visible. So about 1 centimeter from the bottom, about 1 centimeter from the top. I do have cut like this. Got to roll it a little bit here on the bottom, but the bottom paper, this background paper, it's kind of same tone as that rest, so it's good. It's not too much visible. Now I can grab this and slide it from the bottom. This glued piece, this one, will be underneath of my decorative paper here. So you can slide it up and down. And this is actually the reason why I said go to have a look on Sue's tutorial, because she is explaining why you shouldn't place it upside down. So go to have a look on the tutorial. So you will place your mechanism from the bottom. You will grab your page and glue this on your page. As you can see here, where I do have that plastic tape, it also shows me where I shouldn't place any glue when I will be gluing this down. I'm gonna put the glue just on the edges. Give it nice space. For my moving mechanism. Now I'm gonna glue this decorative paper here. Now I do have my background paper glued, and the mechanism is moving up and down easily. So now I can start to place the window pockets on the right spot. Here and here I haven't do any stamping. That shows me which way I should glue my pockets, and then these, they do have those cards. So I'm gonna start with one of these and put the glue on all over of this back side. And place it right here. Be careful, do not place it too close to the mechanism. And underneath I'm gonna place this. And again, carefully next to that cut, not into that cut. Now here on the top, I'm gonna place this one right there. And again, I'm trying to be careful, do not place it to that gap in the middle. And now this one on the bottom. And now some decoration on the top of all of this. I'm gonna fold it over my papers. I'm not gonna make it too tight. I wanna have nice space under this, so I'm kind of keeping there a little gap. It's not folded totally on the bottom. And I think I'm gonna create some cute little layout from my collection with frocks. I do have my layout done, very simple one, just background label, this and this as text on the label, and cute frog in the middle as that basic point, focal point. And this title I put on foam double-sided tape just to give it a little bit dimension. This will go right there, but because it's kind of like getting flat, I decided to use piece of double-sided tape, place it here in the middle, kind of push it inside, in that space between. And now I'm gonna lift these parts together, glued them together. So now I do have bigger space when I do fold this one. So there is that glued part. I'm not sure if you will see that. It's hard to show, but it's not folded straight away from, you know, straight away down there. Not sure how to explain it either. So now I can put a glue here, and because I want to show you how it's moving, I'm gonna put double-sided tape in the middle and liquid glue around, so it will be glued properly. Double-sided tape which will catch my image straight away, and liquid glue for that strong hold. Now I can take the frock and I'm gonna have a look. Lift it up this way. Yeah, it's going nicely up and it's going down. So I need to make sure that the frock, when this is moved down, will cover only these bottom pieces, not to be over both parts. You need to have space in there to open that top. So I can place her this way. I'm gonna press it on that double-sided tape. That will hold it straight away. And the glue, liquid glue, will dry eventually. So now I can move it up and I can open that bottom. So this is beautiful closure, which I wanted to do many times before. I always forgot. And latest video I saw on that Sue's channel reminded me this closure, and I really love how it looks, and especially with these openings. So that's one thing. You can use this simple and easy to make mechanism. And another thing where you can use it, it's this one. We are going to create together a mechanism which does have similar holding, this holding, which we did used in those pocket. So it does have same holding system like this one. But this time we will create kind of like beautiful hopper. I need to hold my papers properly. And it does have exactly same part inside. That rest is based on a photo album moving mechanism, which I made few times already with you in my journals. As a background paper, first I will create it here on this half of my sheet as kind of continuing of that sheet. For background paper, I did choose this one. This is from my collection Sage Backgrounds, Sage Collage Backgrounds. For creating base of that popping up cards, I'm gonna be using this black card, 200 GSM black card. As decorative images, I think I'm gonna be using this one. I do have prepared another one because I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use. I think this one, but maybe I will end up with a different one. So just for now, it's this, a hopper or a frog. I choose this little fella. Then I will need piece of plastic bag. It can be shipping bag, it can be shopping bag, not this type of acetate, this crinkly one, not this one. It needs to be this because it's flexible. It's more flexible than this acetate one. If you want to stretch it or if you want to rip it apart, it will be just stretching and it will don't get tear easily. If you want to stretch this one, it's actually very easily to be ripped apart, this crinklish one. So try to choose something like this. And of course, that mechanism or that holder we have created on that previous one. And I do have one more exactly same. 6 inches long, 1 inch in the width, folded or scored 1 inch, 2 inches, 4 and 5, then folded the way I showed you, glued here, and we do have this. So it's same part. Now first we will create, first I'm gonna put my background paper here. So I do have my background paper done. Before I will cut the piece I will use as a holder of all that mechanism, I am actually gonna cut this on 2 pieces. I need 1 piece which will be inside. I'm gonna grab this back and show you what I mean. It's more easy for me to explain. So from this picture I need to cut one which will be here on the top and one which will be here on the bottom. This bottom one, it's slightly smaller. So I'm thinking that I will keep this corner same like before. This corner with those, I forgot the name of water lily. No, it's probably not. I will have to Google the name of the flower. So probably I will cut it. It will be nearly same size. Yeah, I will cut it around those. And this corner, this side, will be that bottom moving part. This on the top. And this will have to go from the bottom. So here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it this way. So this is my measurement actually. This smaller one is my measurement. This and of course the page where I will want to fit it. That's my two measurements. The part, here you can see part of that black card. And it's from here till here. The part or the card which I need, I will now measure between these gaps. So I know I need to fit under that card this. It needs to have a space under that card to be moving up and down. And it needs to fit here. So I'm gonna get up the ruler. And I know as that black card here, I will need card which will be 4.5, I will say 4.5 inch will be just exactly, that will be actually exactly same like here, 4.5, yes. So I need 4.5, but I will count also half inch here for folding down, you know, fold down here as well, half inch. So 4.5 plus 1 inch, it's 5.5 inches. I'm gonna cut piece 5.5 inches in the width. Bye. Now I'm gonna get up my images. I don't wanna have that card bigger or taller, so I'm gonna have a look here. And this image is 5. It's not 3/4, 5 5/8, I will say. So I'm gonna cut my card. This is that 5.5. Now I'm gonna flip it this way, and I'm gonna cut it 5.5 as well. It will be easy for me to then score it. So I do have square card. I do have square card here. So for me, it doesn't matter which way I will place my card on my scoreboard. But if you do have this side or this measurement smaller than it's this measurement, now you will need to place your card on your scoreboard this way. How long it's this way. If you will imagine, if I will take this card here, I will place it straight away. Not that way, but this way. And we will score the sides which are glued down here and here. Maybe you will be able to see there. I do have piece of card there, and I do have piece of card here. So that's what we will gonna score now. And we will score 3/8 of inch and half inch. Flip it on the other side. And again, 3/8 of inch and half inch. That way, we just have created a little gap. This type of gap. That's only what we need to have space for that moving card. One-eighth of inch is big enough. At least it did work for me, so I do believe it's big enough. So I do have this with these gaps here. Now when we do have now that card with those side folds, we need to cut slot. One slot here on the top, one slot here on the bottom. That will help us to do this moving up and down. You can take knife and ruler and cut these slots with knife, or maybe you do have paper punch like this for these little slots. That's what I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna slide it there, and from my fold here I'm gonna make sure that the card is slide till the end, because that way I am sure that the line will be in the line. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Like this. And actually you don't have to cut from the side to the side. You can cut only slot only for your strip. So now about strip. Oh, I need to cut that other side as well. But about that strip, once you will have cutted your piece like this, the cardstock, grab the strip of the plastic bag you choose. You will use it for that, and then wrap the plastic twice around this and cut somewhere here like this. That way you do have piece big enough which will help you to create that moving part. Now I'm gonna and once you do have this strip and the width of that strip, you can place it here and make marks on your cardstock of how the strip is wide, and then cut these slots. Hopefully it makes sense what I'm trying to say. Mostly when I'm trying to explain something, I do get too much in the explanation, so in the end it doesn't make sense, even not to me. So just try to cut the slot big enough that your strip of plastic will get there. Now I'm gonna slide plastic here and plastic here. I'm gonna place it this way. Place that double-sided tape. That end is too folded. I'm gonna choose this one because this end it's not folded, and I think I'm gonna place it like this. Cut the end. Okay. I'm gonna take this off. Place it here. And place this one over. And glue it together. It doesn't have to be stretched and glued too tight. It's better if it will be just very simply. Maybe I actually make it too tight. Well, it's moving. It's good. It's moving. I'm gonna cut it here in that opening spot. I'm gonna cut that rest of the plastic. So now about making that mechanism work with this holder. Well, first I need to choose the spot where I would like to have the frog moving up and down. And I think it will be really cool if the frog will be sitting on that leaf and then moving up here. So I'm thinking that the right spot will be somewhere here. So first I'm gonna make little marks for myself. So I'm thinking here will be start, and somewhere here I will go outside of the image. So now when I know which way I wanna go, I'm gonna grab the knife this way. So on the top, I'm gonna keep it open on the top, and I will go here to that leaf. It doesn't have to be totally to the end, and I'm gonna make one more very small slot like this. So I do have nice slot. Now I'm gonna place it the way I would like to see it later on this mechanism. Also, I forgot to mention, when you will make these cuts and when you will plan how big piece you will use for that moving cart. Remember, you don't need this to be so huge to cover all this space. It can be even smaller. Remember that you will need to have spots all around for placing your top image. You will use there, or I'm going to use there, and probably you will use it too, foam double-sided tape. So you will need to have a spot all around of your image to have a chance to glue your image on it without any struggle. So try to think that through before you will cut these slots. This doesn't have to be this width. It can be slightly smaller if that will make your work more easy. So now when I do have here that cut, I'm gonna make a position of the image. I would like to see it later, I guess, like this. And now I can either make a mark, which is most easy to do, with some pencil, pen, marker. Just draw in that line, and here I can see which way or where is that exact spot. So on this position I will place my moving part, and I think I'm gonna cut slightly one side because it's too big and it will be probably visible on some parts. I'm gonna have a look. Oh, not really, but just to make sure, I'm gonna cut it slightly shorter on one side. So now I do have my mark here. I'm gonna put double-sided tape here on the bottom. So now, not yet. Here I do have that opening. Here is that bottom part. I do have my double-sided tape on that bottom part. And now with this, I will go on the line and I will place it. Oh, first, make sure that the glued part is up here on the top, where you do have the line, so it's up, and then this mechanism will go down. I'm just gonna have a look one more time, just make sure that I made proper mark of that bottom part. Yeah, right there is bottom. So now I can take my moving mechanism and place it right here, so I can see a little bit of that mark I made. I do have that glued part here, so now it should be, I need to hold it somehow. Oh yeah, I made it too tight, I guess, but I can move it up and down. So I do have this. Made this way. Now I can flip it over. I'm gonna get up this image. I can actually place it this way easily. Yeah. I'm gonna use double-sided tape here as well. And with that double-sided tape here on that image, just to make sure you do have your moving mechanism down, that glued part is here on the top. Flip it over. You do have your bottom image here. You do have that sticky double-sided tape here on the top. Flip it over and match your card with the top of the image there. Place it somehow in the middle, like this. So now you're moving it with that bottom piece. That's the base, and now it comes on gluing this. For gluing this on the top, I'm gonna be using double-sided foam double-sided tape. I'm gonna place that foam double-sided tape on the edges of this image. And I did reinforce that image with cardstock just to make sure it will hold nicely. So I do have on the top, on the bottom, and here I'm gonna place it actually on my cardstock, because the image itself it's slightly longer, so I should count, right? Yeah. Somewhere here. Evie. Okay. And that's another part which I forgot to say. When you will cut your slots here and here, just have in your head, try to remember that you will need to have spot for foam double-sided tape on the top, on the bottom as well. So do not cut these slots too close to the end. Just keep there about 1/4 of inch gap, and you will be able to place there those double-sided tapes. So I'm gonna take off this. And here. First, I'm gonna make a position for my moving part. Then I'm gonna match this side here, and everything else should follow easily. Here, here, and I'm gonna give it a try. Up and down. Okay, we do have this. This is quite visible, so I'm gonna be using my distress ink, the ink that foam tape slightly, make it dirty. Now I'm gonna open this one. Just try it one more time. I don't want to make it too tight. Huh? Okay. Okay, it looks good. So now on this, I'm gonna glue my little frog. I'm gonna also make a mark on my black cardstock here. I will place the frog this way, so it needs to be down. Yeah, it is. The frog will be sitting this way, and I can see here black cardstock and here black cardstock. So before I will glue the frog on that, I'm gonna get my scissors and cut slightly to my cardstock here and to the cardstock here, just to make sure it will not peeking out anywhere. I'm gonna place that glue and place there the frog. Now it will be best to let it dry. Then grab my papers and glue it here. I'm gonna make sure that these folds are the right way, that this bottom picture, it's not over these folds. I'm gonna put the glue here and here. And I'm gonna glue it down there. And to make it as a decorative part in a vintage journal, I'm gonna also add here some decorations like labels, tickets, something what I like to use in my vintage journals. These parts I'm gonna cut out from my collection. And here is my decorated page with the frog. It's already dried and it's moving really beautifully. I really like this this cute little movement in that journal, and also this one. I'm so happy I saw that video from Sue, and it did remind me this cute little closure and also moving part. I'm gonna place it back into my journal. This toilet paper roll leather journal cover is especially really totally amazing. I'm so happy it didn't out the way I wished it will be. It's so awesome. So here you can try to create your journal cover from toilet paper rolls or from some old box and wrapping paper and create leather cover. I also love the moving parts and openings in my book, and I do hope that you did enjoy it too, and I do hope you will try to create these. Link for the tutorial I've been watching on Sue's channel will be down below. Also links for any digitals you saw in my journals, links will be down below. If you do like this video and if you feel inspired and maybe you think that some of your friends or family will like this type of craft too, go to share that video with your friends, with your family, give it thumbs up and leave some comment because that helps to this channel. It helps me to reach new people, new subscribers, and it shows me that I am doing good and I do inspire you, and I will appreciate that very much. That's all my sharing for today. Thank you so much for jumping in and spending your time with me. All links will be down below. Also links for these two journals, which are for sale now for a very, very reasonable price, because I can't keep another journal in my in my craft room. I do have about 200 journals in my craft room, unfinished, by the way. So I'm not gonna keep any other. From now on, I will try to sell everything what I'm creating. So that's all my sharing for today. Thank you so much for jumping in. I wish you all a beautiful day. Take care of yourself, and I hope I will see you soon. Bye.